Part two of my story. So I end up in Lexington. Most people couldn't tell if I was a boy or girl the way I dress. I kept my hair like this because if you're homeless, you want your hair up if you got long hair to keep bugs, lice from people that you may encounter, things like that. And I kept my toboggan on because it was cold. One night I was leaving work. Yeah, I worked from the streets. I have that ambition. And will sleep in a dumpster if I have to, but I'll be at work the next day. So I'm walking and I let my hair down, and things changed. I became scared. I got scared for the first time. And this, all I did was pray and got closer to God, and He started revealing stuff to me. Later on in this time, I would walk by people, and their eyes would get big. I'm like, ah, and I would laugh and look at them and say, "What did you do that your butthole just got tight when I walked by you? Oh, you must be a gang stalker. You must be one of those paid by the government or whoever pays those people to watch people like me and to try to prove them and make them go crazy. You're not going to make me go crazy. You didn't give me this shine. You can't take it. You didn't give me this light. You can't take it. No weapon formed against me will prosper." I've had people live in apartment buildings that I got, and I knew they were gang stalkers. One had a gun on him one night, and I threw myself on him like a crazy drunk person. I wasn't even drunk. And my friend was upstairs. I said, "That motherfucker had a gun." She said, "Yes." The police came out of nowhere. Someone in the spirit heard me because it was nobody in that apartment complex that called the police. And the police come, looked right at me and said, "Go inside." And just the look, I knew. And I put together that somebody spiritually, I don't know where they were located, called the police for me. And I started realizing who I was in the spiritual realm. And for this time as well as a lot of other things, I had been human trafficked. I had to call the police when I received a set of keys that had KW 66, and the building was, I don't know where it was at. It was either it was somewhere in the United States. So I called, and then I went to my balcony, and there was a light on the outside. I said, "Oh my God." So I turned off my light and watched. Wasn't 10 minutes later, an Uber pulled up. I made a TikTok on it on Goose in Flight about how they human traffic. God gave me that info. I called the police. I said, "Look," they came up to me a couple hours later, and I said, "Look, I found this, and it was hanging. It was brought to my attention that usually it was hanging. It's on a zip tie. We're in Kentucky. It's a country thing." I said, "There was a woman watching me as I grabbed the key off the post." I said, "But here's the thing that got me. I know human trafficking's real, and on the back of this key it says KW room 66." I said, "I'm Keisha Wilson." He said, "Ma'am, give me that key." He said, "I got you. I got you." This has been reported from the get go. Like if your mama's ID was stolen or something. Well, if you're on the street, you don't want a crime committed with your credentials. You don't like your money missing out of the bank. Your mama, your cousin Pookie, anybody? I don't either. I don't either. I'm going to do the right thing for me. I'm not going to tell nobody because I don't know who's doing it. Don't care who's doing it. Don't want to know people like that. But I know when I walk by people, people would cough. They started putting their head down, and I want a lot of enemies. And this is just part of my story because that wasn't the only time they tried to traffic me. Believe that. A couple of times in Georgia. 3, as a matter of fact, in Atlanta. And I know the dates, times, and the places I was at and the people involved in that one. So my story is not for the faint of heart or the weak-minded, but it's nonetheless true. And I've got doctor records to say that, oh, Miss Wilson's fine. Doctors who turned the computer around and said, "Miss Wilson, have you ever been on these medicines?" I said, "No, I haven't. I've been hacked. They changed my medical records. Yeah, I've never been on them, never been them, never had that medicine." I said, "The only reason I was on them medicines was because at that time I was a drug addict and I was pill shopping." That was years ago. Got it straightened out. I have a lot of people who are credible people that back me and that love God and that do have money, whether it's judicial, whether it's doctors, whether it's lawyers, who government people, food stamp people, who 911 people, who say, "I will help you. If you need me, call me and I'll give them the full report." So this has been reported from the get-go. Everybody just didn't know it, and I warned people too. And I'll just share that with you because it's a funny story as well about the day I made a video and said, "Everybody needs to get their money out." And everywhere I went, people were going to ATMs that should never have money. "Pull it out, buddy." I warned them. I warned them. That's all I could do. That's the real shit. God bless you. I know the dates, times, and locations I was at. I've been poisoned and everything. It's crazy.